So an Indie World Direct happened today, and I was really excited for it. It of course introduced a lot of indie games that I haven't heard of or have heard of before, and there was just a bunch of new announcements for the Nintendo Switch. There were a lot of great games introduced, and we're going to be talking about them, don't worry. I'm just kind of baffled why people had such high expectations for things. Like, I know a lot of people were looking for Hollow Knight, Silk Song, and a few other very high-profile indie games, but to me, Indie World was less about introducing hype games and more about introducing games that nobody has ever heard of, or games from indie developers all around the globe so people have a chance to play them, that people have a chance to see all these different types of games. I have low expectations with these directs, but honestly, this one surprised me, and I really liked a lot of the things they had to show off. If anything, it kind of reminded me of a Wholesome Direct by Wholesome Games, just with all the cozy content and all the different variety of indie games there. And there was quite a variety of indie games introduced today, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to go through each of the indie games announced one by one. Some I'll have a little bit more to say than others, and that's okay. Some indie games have my interest, and I have a lot to say about it. Others I think are really cool that they're on there, but aren't really my thing. Either way, let's talk about the game. First game was Venba, a game about a mother and her family from India immigrating all the way to Canada, and it's a cooking game where you basically learn how to cook and try to relearn your recipes from your family's heritage. It looks like you do a lot of cooking puzzles and moving items around, and it looks like there's a decent story mode too, according to the character design and cutscenes. The whole story of the game is the mother trying to relearn recipes and get more in touch with her heritage. I like the art style a lot, I like the mechanics, and I like the fact there's kind of a story mode to go with it. Really cool game. Goodbye World, about two friends who are trying to make a game. I like the pixel art style a lot, and it seems to have a story as the two friends want to make a game, but can't afford to right now as their games aren't too profitable, so they have to work retail jobs in order to survive. God, this is kind of relatable. But it seems like it have a cool narrative and dialogue. And the style of the game reminds me a lot of Eastward in a way. Have a Nice Death, a roguelike where you play as, well, the Grim Reaper, Death. You fight souls all throughout the corporate underworld. I like how that is, as technically you are a CEO of Death. And it looks a lot of fun. The visuals are super cartoony and gameplay is really fun. And you can upgrade as you die each and every time. Reminds me a lot of Hades. And if you like Hades, you'll like this. Aka. They called it a small open world game, which is kind of an oxymoron. Basically, where you play as this retired hero who's just kind of retiring in life, relaxing, and it's just a little cozy game. He can water crops, he can fish, he can interact with these huge animals. At one point, there's a giant capybara, which is really cute. And it looks like there's some quests and a story thrown in as well. If you're a fan of cozy games, I think you'll really like this one. Pepper Grinder, which is made by Devolver Digital of all people, so that gets me automatically excited. And it's basically you use the mechanic of digging and drilling in this little pixel art style game, and it's a bit of a run and gun plus with the mechanic of digging and finding coins and fighting monsters. I really like it a lot. Again, the pixel art is absolutely stunning. There's some cool puzzles and level design. Music's fantastic, and the way you use this like digging drill is super creative and super awesome. I could see a lot of people really getting into this. Did I tell you I love Coffee Talk? If not, I made a video about it, but I love Coffee Talk and I'm super excited for Coffee Talk episode 2. I love this game and I am so happy it's getting a sequel. Like, oh my god. I love the dialogue that each character has. I love the character design. It looks like we have some returning characters from the first Coffee Talk, along with some new ones. It has a lot of laid back music, some chill atmospheric vibes. Not to mention, you're able to make drinks for the customers. Yes, you're able to make drinks for each of these wonderful created characters and learn about them and their lives and how they interact in alternate reality. Everyone's not human. You get some elves and succubi, and even there's a cat of all things. I'm excited. I hope we can pet it. And you can design the latte art too. Really cool. It comes out in spring and I'm really excited for it. I really like Coffee Talk a lot. Play the first game. So this one's called Oni, Road to Be the Mightiest Oni. A little bit of a title redundancy, but it still looks like a cool game as you play an Oni who was beaten by a mighty warrior, and you have to go through this land of demons, and you have to go in this land of spirit and meet another spirit and fight other demons in this little cool open world experience. They really didn't mention too much of the details of the game, but it did mention that you play as both the Oni and the spirit and fight as them simultaneously. I'm not sure if co-op is involved, but it's still very cool to see it. Also mentioned that while you can fight some monsters are invisible and you have no choice but to run, which allows you to be more strategic with how you fight the monsters. The design of the Oni looks really cool, and I love the Japanese style. I think it's great. Yes, the memories in between. I did not know what this was at first, and then it turned out to be a dodgeball real-time strategy game with like dream sequences. It looks really interesting and really intriguing. I love the visuals, especially. I love how it involves a story of the psyche and what's going on with our main characters, and how I assume playing ball in our dreams affects the relationship of the story and the other characters around us. It does seem like a really cool concept. You also get new abilities based on what happens throughout the game and what you learn, which is also really cool. And your teammates have great character designs as well. I love how it makes the simple idea of playing ball just a cool game. I really like it. A Space for the Unbound, one of the cooler titles. It takes place in Indonesia as a slice of life sort of thing with these two lovebirds. They have these sort of powers that are going to help save the world, and it's up to both of them to explore the neighborhood and save the world. Again, I like the pixel art a lot. It's really detailed, really cool. It seems kind of quirky and mysterious, but yet at the same time, there's still this little slice of life to it too. Dordagon, or however you pronounce it. This game is beautiful. Absolutely amazing use of watercolors and painting and animation. The visuals in this game are so stunning and worth the purchase alone, in my opinion. That's the whole reason I'm gonna probably get the game, is just to see these visuals. But it does have a cool story too, as Mimi re-enters the town that she grew up with years later, and she finds letters that she wrote to herself. And it's up to Mimi to reconnect with her younger self, both figuratively and literally, as it seems you play her in the game, and get in touch with her inner child. Again, the visuals are the selling point. It's so cool and cute and quirky. I really, really like how this looks. Botany Manor. If you're terrible at gardening like I am, you could try it in this game. You're a retired botanist who inherits a mansion, and you have to solve these garden puzzles in order to continue to grow your plants. Some are apparently more stubborn than others, so you have to make sure you find the right way to water them and take care of them. It seems like an overall cozy game to get lost in, especially if you were a fan of puzzles and gardening. I don't know too much about plants, but this seems like a nice one. Okay, hold up. We gotta talk about Once Upon a Jester and how this is my favorite game on the Direct, hands down. I love this game. I love Bonte Avond, the developers in charge of it. This game is so hilarious. I was able to get early access to the demo because they were kind enough to give it to me before it was released to the public, and this game is hilarious. You basically star as Jester and Sock, a duo trying to steal a very rare and valuable diamond, but in order to do that, they have to enter this theater competition and get enough roses in order to succeed and get close to said diamond. No show is the same, as you try to interact with the crowd the day before to see what they're in the mood for and what your audience is itching to see in order to have a successful time and win the best theater competition. The humor is fantastic. The character designs are fun. It's voice acted in a hilarious way where they kind of just goof around, and it's just a blast to play. I guarantee you that this game will put a smile on your face. And the best part, it's available today. You can play it right now. I'm going to be playing it on Twitch later today. If you want to check out my Twitch and follow me there, that would be amazing. But seriously, if there's any game that you want to get from this Direct, if you have to get one game, get this game. Seriously, you can even get it today. Do it. Go stop the video. Go to the eShop. Download it
now.
Rogue Legacy 2. I don't know much about it or Rogue Legacy 1, but it looks really fun, and you're able to play as a bunch of different characters with different quirks and different weapons. That's really all I have to say about Rogue Legacy. Blanc. I'm pretty sure they mentioned this in a partner direct, right? I'm not crazy. A wolf cub and a fawn are trapped in a snowstorm, and they have to work together in order to survive. First off, the visuals are gorgeous. Second off, it looks like it's a fun little co-op experience as you're able to play as either character and just work together in order to survive this cute and possibly sad world. It really looks like one of those games that's gonna leave a massive impact on you and make you cry along with being amazingly cute. It comes out February 14th. I really want it. And then after that, they kind of just breeze through a lot of games, so we're just gonna be really quick with it. I'm just gonna talk about my favorites. Storyteller looks a lot of fun as you're able to interact with different parts of a story and interchange them with one another in order to create a new story. World of Horror is like intrigues me as it has a lot of this Game Boy pixel art that's both unique and creepy at the same time. There's some weird visuals thrown in too that are really, really creepy. I don't know how to feel about it, but I kind of want to play it. Curse of the Sea Rats. The title's weird. The art style's great too, but I am honestly mentioning it just for the title and the animation. Inscription is one I keep hearing a lot because it's this awesome card game with a cool story and great puzzles. I hear a lot of people are really into it, and I kind of want to play it finally. 2 games left, and both are worth talking about. First off, A Little to the Left. That's too much to the left. Have you ever wanted to move something just a little bit to make it look more center? Well, A Little to the Left is a game about that. Literally, where you have to move objects and organize them and place them in a specific way. While it seems like a simple idea for a game, I don't know, I'm kind of intrigued by it. It can be addicting just to organize things and make sure everything looks perfect and together. After all, unpacking was a huge success, and that was kind of the same thing, only just placing things around different points in the room. I think A Little to the Left is adorable and is a lot of fun. There's a cat who does try to mess with your progress a bit and get in the way, but it's okay because you can apparently pet him. And last but not least, one that people have been looking forward to, Sports Story. Yes, the sequel to Golf Story, which I have never played, but I know it's a fun game and it's kind of a goofy RPG along with some sports elements. But the first one was just golf, but this one looks like it has a load of sports into it. Volleyball, tennis, BMX, cricket, soccer, you name it, the sport is there. And of course, like the original Golf Story, there is an RPG and story thrown in too, with some great pixel art behind it. Again, I can see why a lot of people are really hyped for this one, and why a lot of people are covering it as like one of the first games mentioned. This is the one more thing Nintendo Directs always go for, and even the Indie Direct has this. A lot of people were looking forward to it. I still never played Golf Story though, so yeah. Overall, a lot of cool games announced. Some that I've heard of, but all of them either I'm excited for or something that's intrigued me a little bit. Again, I think that the purpose of this direct is not exactly to get people super hyped up, but just to introduce these games to more people. A lot of people wouldn't have heard of half of these games if it weren't for this direct, and now they're exposed to a lot more people. And I'm glad about that. I've always been happy that Indie World introduces these games to me, and I don't think I would have heard of a lot of these games if it weren't for Indie World. I know there's some I'm definitely going to try, including Once Upon a Jester, A Little to the Left, Blanc, and more. What games do you want to play from this direct? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button and stay tuned for more videos. I just had to move my mic a little bit to the left. And also play Everybody Wham Wham. It's made by the same people who made Once Upon a Jester, and it's a Christmas related, and it's great.